But the thing that just absolutely astounds me is I knew something about a terrorist group called the Muslim Brotherhood, but I had no idea, Eric. Tell me a bit about the Muslim Brotherhood. Why does the media, our administration, posture them as moderate? What's the reason for that?
Well, Sid, first of all, their tactics. They dress like you and I. They wear suits and ties. They are eloquent. They are Western educated. They speak fluent English. This is not Al-Qaeda. These are not the guys with the flowing beards and the robes and the AK-47s. The Muslim Brotherhood are very charming, Sid, and I've interviewed them face to face. I've been in their homes. I've been in their mosques. I've been in their offices. And Sid, if I didn't know any better, I would actually like them. They are quite charming, but that charming facade and veneer hides a sinister agenda, Sid. And at the end of the day, they share the same goals as Al-Qaeda.
Well, you know what it reminds me of as you're sharing this, Eric, the KKK. They used to wear the robes, and now they put on business suits. And so are they college educated?
Sid,
not only are
they... Yes, Sid, not only are they college educated, many of them have been educated in the West, in the United States, in Europe. People would be shocked to know about the Muslim Brotherhood presence in the United States. Sid, they are here. I'll give you a great example. Mohammed Morsi, the now deposed Egyptian president, he joined the Muslim Brotherhood not in Egypt, but in the United States, in California, when he was a student at USC, the University of Southern California. That's where Mohammed Morsi became a Muslim brother. Sid, they are here in the United States.
Now, you say they're a new breed beyond the suit. They're raising homegrown terrorists? What do you mean?
Sid, we've seen case after case over the past few years in the United States, dozens of cases of young American Muslims, U.S. citizens, being arrested on terrorism charges. Sid, I'll give you a great example of this Muslim Brotherhood-style link and how they're really the driving force behind all the Islamic terror we see today. The Boston bombers, those two young brothers up in Boston, killed 3 people, wounded 264 more. Sid, they attended a mosque in the Boston area controlled by a Muslim Brotherhood-linked group. Surprise, surprise.
Now, I heard in the news that the Muslim Brotherhood has been out to the White House at least 100 times in the last calendar year.
You said Muslim Brotherhood connected individuals with strong ties to the global Muslim Brotherhood network absolutely are advising our government, the U.S. government, on its counterterrorism and Middle East policies. This is the epitome of the fox guarding the henhouse. And you wonder why America's Middle East policies right now are kind of a mess and we see all this chaos in the Middle East. We have the bad guys, the Brotherhood, in the halls of power, in our lawmakers' ears.
All right, you use the phrase, they're the granddaddy of all terrorism. Do you really mean that, Eric?
Sid, I mean it 100%. All of the terrorist chaos, the madness we see today, the war on terror, Al-Qaeda, Hamas, spawned by the Muslim Brotherhood, Sid. Al-Qaeda is an offshoot of the Brotherhood. Hamas is an offshoot of the Brotherhood. It's really the gateway drug to Islamic terrorism and jihad.
What is going on in America? I see mosques just sprouting up all over.
Sid, this is not a coincidence. I'm so glad you brought this up because the number of mosques in America, a lot of our viewers might not be aware of this, the number of mosques in America has actually doubled since 2000, since the year 2000. Now, if you look at the Muslim Brotherhood strategic documents, and by the way, Sid, these mosques are not just in New York City, Chicago, Los Angeles, areas with large Muslim populations. They're popping up in the Bible Belt, taking overseas funding. Why, Sid, if you have such a small Muslim community, why do you need such a large, sprawling mosque complex? The imams, and I've interviewed them, they can't answer, and they also can answer where the money is coming from.
Okay, why do they need so many in these small areas?
Sid, if you look at the Muslim Brotherhood strategic documents, and by the way, people might be shocked to know that our government, the U.S. government, has the Muslim Brotherhood's documents in its possession. These secret documents, Sid, that I've written about. Long story short, during the raid of a leading global Muslim Brotherhood operative's home, just outside of Washington, D.C., 10 minutes from our capital, this guy had set up shop. The FBI raided his home. They uncovered these secret Muslim Brotherhood documents that outline a strategy to, quote, destroy Western civilization, America, from within. And one way they're going to do that, Sid, according to their own documents, is to build mosques from coast to coast. This is a central tenet of the Brotherhood strategic plan to subvert America from within.
And how come there's these schools of Islam springing up at major universities? I mean, how does Harvard have a school of Islam? It used to be a Jewish university.
Yeah, right.
How's Georgetown, a Catholic university, have all these schools?
It's the money, Sid. Look at the money trail. This Georgetown Islamic branch you discuss at Georgetown University, a Catholic university, $20 million. Harvard, $20 million came from the same man, a Saudi prince. And the Saudis are the main purveyors, you would say, of spreading radical Islam worldwide. And it's very interesting. They have billions of dollars in these petrodollars, Sid, with this oil empire they have in Saudi Arabia. And they are missionaries in many ways, spreading Islam throughout Europe, throughout America, billions and billions of dollars over the past few decades. And they have worked with the Muslim Brotherhood, by the way. The Saudis provide the money. The Brotherhood provides the imams and the ideologues at these mosques. That has been the blueprint traditionally. Very interesting strategy they have.
One last question. Is it true that the Quran says when you're small, when Islam is small, be peace-loving. Once you get larger, take over?
This is the example of Muhammad himself, Sid. It's absolutely true. When Muhammad was not a political leader, when he was just a struggling so-called prophet in the city of Mecca, Muhammad was more conciliatory towards Jews and Christians. He wanted to win them to his side. Later on in his career, Sid, he went to the city of Medina, became a warrior, a political leader. All of a sudden, his so-called revelations changed and became more violent and more intolerant of Christians and Jews. Once Muhammad gained the power, he became much more intolerant and violent towards non-Muslims.
I want to talk about these secret documents when we come back. Now, before we get to the secret documents to take over the United States and Europe by the Muslim Brotherhood that have been uncovered, I believe it was the Swiss that found these secret documents, tell me a bit about the history of the Muslim Brotherhood.
Well, Sid, from the beginning of this group, the Muslim Brotherhood, they've been steeped in violence and the ideology of martyrdom, of dying for Allah. Their founding creed reads in part, "Jihad is our way. Dying in the way of Allah is our highest hope." This is their founding motto. Yeah.
Moderate. How do you call that moderate? I don't get it, Eric.
You know, they say that
that's not a Democratic line. Sure. It's not a Republican line. Both Republicans and Democrats call them moderate.
Without a doubt.
Is that still their goal?
Yes, Sid, that goal. And when Muslim Brotherhood leaders darken the halls of the White House today, that remains their motto. They've never changed it since 1928 when they were founded. Jihad is our way. Dying in the way of Allah is our highest hope. And Sid, from the beginning of this organization, founded in Egypt in 1928, 7 members. Within 20 years, it grew to within 1 and 2 million members. Within only 20 years of its founding, from the beginning, they lived up to that motto, Sid. They harassed the Jews of Egypt. They worked, in particular, with the Nazis. They worked, Sid, did the Muslim Brotherhood, with Hitler's war machine to extend the final solution from Europe to the Jews of the Middle East and North Africa. The Brotherhood actually sent battalions when Israel was miraculously reborn in 1948. The Brotherhood sent battalions to fight against the new Jewish state. They assassinated Egyptian leaders, assassinated an Egyptian prime minister. This is an organization steeped in violence who, by the way, Sid, not only did they spawn al-Qaeda, but Hamas, which has killed American citizens, which kills Jewish women and children on a daily basis, they self-identify themselves as the Palestinian branch of the Muslim Brotherhood. Hamas is the Muslim Brotherhood.
Now, were they involved in the assassination of Sadat?
Muslim Brotherhood members absolutely, Sid. In 1981, former Egyptian President Anwar Sadat, Muslim Brotherhood members participated in the killing of Sadat a few years after he struck that peace treaty between Egypt and Israel.
That was the reason.
That was the reason, Sid. The Brotherhood never let him live it down, and they had a bullseye on his back.
Okay, tell me about the secret documents to totally destroy the United States.
Well, you have two. It's very interesting, Sid. You have, on one hand, documents found in North America, outside of Washington, as we were discussing, but then you have the Project. That's a document that you referenced, discovered by Swiss authorities right after 9/11. Now, Swiss authorities conducted a raid of a leading Brotherhood operative's home in a luxurious villa, I might add. These guys, again, they're living the high life in many cases. And this document has become known as the Project. And what it is a Muslim Brotherhood secret plan to dominate Europe, dominate America. And what they're going to do, Sid, is mass immigration, number one, proselytizing, number two, number three, building mosques across Europe, across America, and number four, key point here, Sid, get jobs in the halls of power, in the media, academia, government. We're seeing it in Europe. We're seeing it in the U.S. Also working with like-minded, perhaps not ideologically similar, but the left, for instance, in Europe and America. We see the Brotherhood working closely with the political left.
No, wait a second. The political left is not going to be aligned with someone that wants to kill homosexuals. I mean, no, it doesn't make sense, Eric.
Sid, it makes no sense, right? Strange bedfellows. Everyone at home's probably thinking the left would be the first ones with their heads on the chopping block if Islamic Sharia law came into power. But here's the sticking point.
Is that their goal?
That is their goal. Sharia law for one and all, whether we like it or not.
What's going to happen, bottom line, to women?
Well, there will be no women's right, and every women's right, Sid, and every woman from
so how's
small
the
to
far
large.
left get
Sid,
together with
it makes our heads might explode here on set trying to wrap our heads around this. Here's the deal, Sid, and here's the key point people at home need to remember. Why would radical Islamists who want Sharia law and hardcore radical leftists who want, I guess, a Marxist utopia, why would they work together? They seem like strange bedfellows. Sid, they share a common foe, Judeo-Christian Western civilization. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. That old adage, they hate traditional America, traditional Judeo-Christian Western civilization, which is based on the Ten Commandments. They hate it so much. They hate the name of Yeshua, Jesus, so much that they will work together, at least in the short term, to chip away at traditional America and traditional Western civilization.
When we come back from the break, I want to find out about the next war in the Middle East. I also want you to realize a man by the name of Adolf Hitler wrote a book called Mein Kampf, in which he outlined everything he was going to do. No one took him serious. We have an outline of what the Muslim Brotherhood is planning, their strategy. Let's take them seriously.